Hi, my name's Bonnie McGinness. I'm an educator, and so I need to start talking about what it means to be an educator, and then I'll get to my story, which is why they've asked me to speak today. So teaching's a passion. Those who love teaching know it's so much more than curriculum, textbooks, and test scores. Teaching is a craft that fuels the souls of those of us who are called to the profession. These teachers, those of us who are called, we love our subjects, we love our students, and we're so committed to our students that we often sacrifice our own personal time, resources, and energies to do what's right by our students. Teaching's a way of life. It's a love. This I know because I spent 5 of the best years of my life in a high school English classroom teaching sophomores, juniors, and seniors. I loved my job. I loved watching my students grow as writers. I loved watching the challenge of hand-picking a book for a senior who had never read a book all the way through high school, only to have that same student return book in hand for another recommendation. I thrived on class discussions, finding new ways to use literature to talk about society and writing to explore lives. I was what we would call a good teacher. I taught high school English for 5 years in two different districts in Ohio. Between these 2 districts, I received excellent teaching evaluations, offered advanced English classes in a district that did not offer AP classes for my students hoping to go on to a 4-year university, trained my advanced students to offer writing assistance throughout our K-12 building to other such students, wrote more letters of recommendation than I could possibly recall, helped numerous students write scholarship essays in which most were ultimately rewarded. Spent many hours during my planning period before and after school and through email helping students not only with my own assignments but with writing completely unrelated to my class. I reached out to students who came to me and came out to me while living in communities where they did not feel safe being themselves or even coming out to their families. My students left my class completely prepared to go on and excel in college English, whether they intended to go on to a 4-year university or not, and in fact on several occasions submitted writing they'd done in my class that resulted in their testing out of freshman English. Most importantly, every single year at least one student would come to me thanking me for something I had done, for impacting them and changing their lives. Even now, 5 years after I've left the classroom, I still have students coming to me and thanking me for something that I don't even remember doing, but meant a lot to them. After going through a divorce, I was outed as a lesbian. After I was outed, homophobic panic swept the entire community, and I was the subject of what I would call a witch hunt. I received death threats at work and at my home. I was verbally harassed and feared greatly for my physical safety. For 5 years, I was an excellent teacher, but once word got out that I was a lesbian in the classroom, I didn't have a chance. Rumors circulated, my life at school was made unbearable, and ultimately my family doctor, he informed me that my health was just deteriorating and I needed to resign. I resigned my teaching position and I moved to a neighboring district, but the harassment did not stop. I continued to receive threats. My car was vandalized when I went to my son's t-ball game, my home was broken into, my name was smeared, my reputation ruined, and my career seriously damaged. When this happened to me, I thought I was the only person in the whole world who had ever experienced this sort of horror. I've since learned that this is far from the truth. I'm a doctoral student at Miami. I speak with educators a lot who experience the same sort of thing that I do, and I'm surprised to learn that this happens all the time, every year. Sometimes it's very public, sometimes it's not. And this is frustrating for me because now, even now, when I go back to the community, my kids still live there. People come up to me telling me how wrong it was what I went through, that they're so sorry for what I went through, and how somebody should have done something to stop it. They're right, it was wrong. It shouldn't have happened. Somebody besides my building principal should have stood up and supported me when I was going through an incredibly unfair public smear campaign. It's easy to whisper to somebody in hindsight that what happened years ago was wrong. It takes strength to do what's right and stand beside somebody who needs your help when it's not the popular thing to do. In my situation, I believe that even if just a few people would have stood up and supported me, it would have helped. But what I know is that if we would have had legislation in Ohio when I was going through what I went through, there would have been some ground to stand on and I would still be in the classroom today. Every time I speak to a group of people about the importance of being a good ally, this is the message that I hope they hear. There are some for whom the law does not protect. In Ohio, currently, people from the LGBT community are not protected. It's our job to stand with those individuals and speak out when we see injustices taking place, and this time is now. Thank you.